Reconnection Challenge update. I'm Tony Bacigalupo. Follow along at Belongfulness. I am on a quest to build the most connected and belongful life and conquer loneliness and screen addiction. So what we're doing in this video is we were talking about practice number 1. In my previous video, I've talked about 4 practices. The first one is all about connecting to your home and having a regular practice of just grounding and appreciation. So just to give you a little background on me, my wife and I moved from New York City to Norwalk, Connecticut, about an hour outside of the city. And we now have a lovely apartment, a little bit more room, a little bit more headspace. You can kind of see we've got these like high ceilings. I'm in a loft. So we have a little bit more breathing room, which is great. And what we generally do is we tend to wake up not super early. It's kind of how we roll right now. We more or less get up, we start our work days. We have maybe a little bit of time in the morning, but usually not a ton. We go throughout the workday, we have a nice lunch break together. And then by the time we hit the end of the day, usually the workday bleeds pretty quickly into any other errands we have to run, and then ultimately cooking dinner and settling down for the evening. So I'm not seeing a huge amount of windows for opportunity for me to insert a regular practice, except for one spot, which is the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, we usually have control over the timing of that. Maybe if we're watching a basketball game or a movie that goes late, we cut that time short a little bit. But we've started to make a really good practice of reading before bedtime, having a little bit of quiet time, having a little bit of no screen time. This is great because we're in partnership. We're doing this together. We get to share in this experience. We get to have a little bit of freedom in terms of we get to decide what we do with that time. It doesn't have to be reading a book. It could be doing a crossword puzzle or journaling. And so it gives us a really good foundation. If there's something else we want to add to it, maybe we want to add an appreciation or a gratitude practice or something like that, we can build on it from there. But because of our life situation, we have one window of time that we pretty much know we can count on, which is those evening times. So my intention to start things off for kind of activity number 1 is to set and maintain this regular intention of going to bed a little early, having that be no screen time, use that time to settle from the day, ground, maybe incorporate some time to appreciate, feel some gratitude for where I'm at, and then set myself up for a good night's sleep, get started the next day. So what I'm going to do in subsequent videos is we'll go through practices 2 through 4 and talk about how I'm going to do it and then how it goes. I'll share updates. So follow along, do this yourself. Tell me, drop a comment if you are going to do the same thing. Tell me about your practice, or tell me about why maybe this is difficult for you. I want to hear what your challenges are as well. And we're going to work through this together. It's the Reconnection Challenge at Belongfulness. Subscribe to follow along on this journey, and I would love to have you along for it because in this quest to conquer loneliness and screen addiction, we are not alone. And so let's be not alone together.